We come together today to mourn the loss of a great companion. I'm sure you're all familiar with my old bedroom. I mean, a lot of important stuff happened there. It's where I got rickrolled, it's where I worship Barack Obama, and it's where I got shot. So, I love that room, but it was time to go. I mean, sure, I'm legally dead and all since the government doesn't know I survived being shot, but that's exactly why I had to move out. I mean, they've probably already gotten started on reselling the place, and a wanted criminal can't exactly just hide out there. It's been my best interest to lay low for now because if I don't, the IRS is gonna be all over my ass. Anyway, this place here belonged to a relative of mine back in the day. Fellow criminal. Runs in the genes. And it's pretty far away from civilization, so I'll probably be fine out here. Probably.
Animal Crossing. One of the most wholesome video game series on the entire planet. Oh dear God, what is wrong with people? 33,000 images? What the hell? I'm just gonna pretend that never happened. The Animal Crossing series started on the GameCube.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly, moving on. The next entry was on the DS, something many people actually owned, so Wild World definitely did a lot better than its predecessor. The same goes for City Folk on the Wii. New Leaf was released on the 3DS, and it might be my favorite game in the series. There's just a lot that it did right, and a ton of features to keep you engaged for a while, many of which didn't make it into New Horizons. Some of them did through updates, but not all of them, and by that point, most people were done with the game anyway. New Leaf had a ton of cool stuff. I mean, you get to be the mayor of the town. We've never had that much authority before. Granted, the village sucks at doing background checks since our character wasn't even supposed to be the mayor, but I'm sure you'll be a responsible mayor, right? I personally ran around the village as naked as I could be, so take that how you will.
Now, what if we took that insane amount of control you had and stripped it down until there was nothing left? That is Happy Home Designer.
So the time period from 2015 to 2016 was a weird one for Nintendo. It just seemed like they were releasing a ton of bare bones, low quality games just to say that they released something, especially on the Wii U. And that's not to say there weren't some bangers as well, since Super Mario Maker and Pokémon Sun and Moon released during this time, but overall people don't look back on this era fondly. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, Chibi Robo Ziplash, Metroid Prime Federation Force, Star Fox Zero, a bunch of games getting downgraded to fit on the 3DS. To some people, Happy Home Designer might fit right into that mess, but I'd like to give it a second chance to see if it really deserves all those mixed reviews. So, have you ever wanted to be a real estate agent?
I'm living in this house illegally. What do you think?
This game is basically if you took New Leaf, completely erased most of what made the game interesting, and then forced you to work as Tom Nook's slave to provide villagers with houses in places that you aren't even allowed to access because you can't escape this single goddamn street. I think you get the gist of it, but to put it nicely, the game follows your character as they get a job at Nook's Homes, where you get to help your clients decorate their houses to suit their needs. Now, that sounds fun, right? And to some degree, it is fun. I'm sure everyone enjoys decorating their own house in Animal Crossing games, but to make a whole game out of it? I mean, Animal Crossing is so much more than that. Fishing, planting, selling and buying, digging fossils, hanging out with your friends. You take all that away and you just have something that nobody asked for. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad idea to be able to decorate the houses of your fellow villagers. The game actually handles it pretty well. But the thing is, they literally released an expansion for New Leaf a year after this game. So couldn't they have just added a feature like this to the game? Now, I'll give credit where credit is due. They did this pretty recently with New Horizons. Alongside the last major update, they released a DLC called Happy Home Paradise. So it's basically just a sequel to this game.
So you're just proving my point. You did a massive update for New Leaf just like this a year later. You could have waited until then to just add support for fixing up the villagers' houses in that update, and you didn't do it. I love Happy Home Designer more than the average person, but it did not need to be a full game.
Now, for what it is, this game is actually pretty robust. Sometimes clients will come straight to you at the office, but that's usually done to progress the story and introduce you to new features. for the most part, you get to go outside and walk down this tiny ass street looking for clients.
I should really stop roasting this street because in my New Horizons game, I actually try to make a street just like this for all of the shops and stuff. But you know what? I'm not the same man I was.
So you select the client and drive on down to their empty home and get to work. The catalog is really nice, I gotta admit. It's pretty easy to navigate and search for what you want, and there's a decent selection of items to choose from, with each client usually unlocking new ones that fit their needs. You can place stuff on the floor, on the walls, you can place carpets, you can change the floor and wall designs, and so on. Now, I keep saying that your clients have certain needs. When you meet with them, they'll give you an idea of what they're looking for. In Goldie's case, it was a forest of books. This is your guideline for your project. You should try to arrange items that fit their desires so they'll be happy, but I honestly don't know that it matters too much. To my knowledge, there is not a rating scale or anything. Sure, there are absolutely items that they seem to like more since a little heart shows up next to them when you place said items down. But as far as I know, they don't even say anything if the room doesn't fit what they asked for. Like, you can place down whatever the hell you want, and they'll say, oh yeah, this is fine.
You could literally set their houses on fire, and they'd be like, oh yeah, cool, thanks man, this is really pretty.
Once you finish up, you talk to your clients, and then you get a little montage of them enjoying their new home. I guess this is supposed to make you feel good? Like, oh man, look at how much Goldie is enjoying all these books on the shelves.
If she's enjoying them so much, why isn't she reading them?
Then your work is done, you go back to the office, say hi to your coworkers, and sign off for today. That's it, day in and day out, not much variation. Granted, you could say the same thing about normal Animal Crossing games, but at least there's a variety of stuff to do every day there. Your jobs aren't restricted to homes, however. Sometimes someone might want you to work on a facility like a school, but it's pretty much just the same procedure, just with a different amount of space. I mean, you don't even have to think too much about what you're doing. There's so much stuff here that's literally just meant for schools, so there we go, place them around and we are done.
I enjoy this game to some degree, but it could be better. There's a big reason games like this work, and this just doesn't have it. Games like Planet Coaster or Minecraft do really well because they employ your creativity. Happy Home Designer? Not much creativity there. Most people will probably end up making pretty similar houses, so that's just not cool.
You play this game for a little bit and you see everything you need to in order to be able to judge it, because it doesn't change. Sure, you unlock new features as you go on, like being able to decorate the outside of the house, which was pretty cool at the time, but overall, you know what you're getting yourself into every time you boot up the game, and it gets old after a while. If you really want to itch that creativity, New Horizons is good enough. I mean, you can decorate your own multi-room house however you want, and you also get to decorate the entire island with whatever you want. You can build paths, bridges, new terrain, and so on. I loved my time with New Horizons because it was genuinely fun to turn the deserted island into something more, something civilized. Locking your creativity to houses that you'll most likely never enter again is just a little lackluster. Is that some people's real job? Sure, but that's not why I play video games, dude. This is my escape from reality, and I have no desire to work in the housing industry. Amiibo cards were a pretty big deal for this game, and I actually collected some back in the day. Trading cards are a big thing, so I guess turning them into Amiibo was a no-brainer, and just expands that collecting aspect of Amiibo. You can use the cards to summon characters to a villager's house to have a party or something like that, but it's not really the most interesting use of Amiibo. I don't own it anymore, but alongside the Amiibo cards, Nintendo released the Nfc Reader. This little doohickey's only purpose is to connect to your 3DS and allow Amiibo support.
You might not know this, but I actually started YouTube in 2015 on an old channel. I was way too young to be doing so, and the quality definitely reflected that. I mean, Let's Plays were recorded with my phone camera, I did stupid skits that didn't even constitute being a skit, and I never edited a single video. My point being, one time, I recorded an entire video in the back of my mom's car where I was just unboxing the Nfc Reader. The goddamn Nfc Reader. Because this thing is just so freaking special, huh? Treat it like it's Jesus Christ, why don't we?
But here's the kicker. The truth about this game. It doesn't need to exist. We can all agree on that. The truth is, Nintendo thought the same thing.
They didn't make this game because they wanted to. They made the game as an excuse to make a line of Animal Crossing Amiibo cards. Are you hearing this shit? This game was an afterthought. Just a marketing ploy to get us to spend money on their useless fucking cards. Holy shit! And I fell right into their trap. I gobbled all that shit up. I bought the game. I bought several packs of cards. I wasted my money on the godforsaken NFC Reader. You think this is bad? This chicanery? They've done worse. Those Mario sports games. Are you telling me that I just happened to buy a half-baked, incomplete game? No. They orchestrated it. Nintendo! They added half of the game's content after launch. And I supported them. And I shouldn't have. I let them into my heart. What was I thinking? They'll never change. Ever since I was 9, they were always the same. Couldn't listen to their fans' pleas. But not our Nintendo. Couldn't be our precious Nintendo. Stealing us blind. And they get to develop video games? What a sick joke. I should have called the Nintendo hotline when I had the chance. And yeah, here we are. Brand new room. Not the greatest thing in the world, but it'll have to do, since I can't really be staying in the home of a wanted criminal. I love speaking in the third person. Man, it sure would be a shame if the IRS sent a canic back to find me here. Not that such a thing would ever happen, right? No, of course not. Nothing like that would ever happen. Anyway, I've got a vacation to Al Delfino coming up, and I board the plane pretty soon, so I gotta get out of here. Can't wait to make so many more memories in this room when I get back.